What it do, what it do, it's your boy Tony Anation. I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about pros and cons of running your own business. Your own business. You feel me? Yeah. Hey, if you know me, I've been doing my own thing for like a little minute right now. And if you don't know me, I'm about to tell you what I've been doing for like a little minute right now. I am a photographer and videographer. That's the only thing that I do. I don't have any other jobs, don't have any other things yet. I got some stuff cooking right now. You feel me? You gotta have multiple sources of income. But yeah, so running your own business, I'm a photographer, videographer, and I just wanted to talk about some things. If you're thinking about getting into business, I hope that this video is gonna be informative, and it's gonna have just enough information for you to decide whether you want to do your own business or you don't want to do your own business. I'm gonna start with the cons. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start with those first before we get to the pros. But I urge you to stay until the end of the video and watch the pros, because for me, I wouldn't be doing it if they did not outweigh the cons, right? Number one, again, I always say these are not in any particular order. I just have notes here to kind of help me, guide me so that I stay on track and talk about the things that I've been thinking about addressing in whatever video that I'm doing. First of all, can you do me a favor? Can you just like this video and, share this video with a friend once you decide if you like it or not? Thank you. Let's get to it. First of all, I just want to talk about that it takes time to do things. I started doing photography 2016, I believe, around 2016, 2015-ish. And I did that for a while. I did that for about 2 years and a half before I actually started making any money from it. Like, I was just doing it as a hobby, and I didn't really know much about it, but I kept learning. I kept, building up on the skill, and I never intended it for it to be a business. It just started with people asking me to, like, hey, you should charge, like, you're really good, you should, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then another thing that I used to wonder is, like, am I ever gonna get a job? Because I wear a beanie all the time. I was in this burn incident, that happened, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get a job from anywhere wearing a beanie. Like, is that a thing? Is that like a work outfit type of thing, right? So I was like, I gotta figure out what I want to do. And I think starting a business was what I wanted to do. Is what came up to mind. Is like, hey, since I'm good at photography, I might as well try to really make this something. So I just locked in, and then I just committed, and I wanted to do that. So for 2 years, I did that. I was just taking photos as a photographer that was not being paid, but it was cool because it's a hobby and something that I liked, right? But there's so many other things that I came to learn later on that you actually have to do. So for example, is that when you're doing it as a hobby, it's one thing from when you're doing it as a paid thing. The first thing is, I remember people used to ask me, like, when I started doing it, it's like, hey, can you send me the invoice for your packages? Can you send me your packages? Can you send me these? And I'm like, can you send me your website? And I'm like, bro, I don't even have any of those things because I'm starting out, right? So that's something you have to, like, start out with. Is like, with whatever, you're probably not going to be in the same field as me, but figure out, like, the groundwork that needs to be done for that. And this is coming to me as a con because I just never knew about these things. Because in my field, there's like invoices, there's packages you have to send, there's contracts you need to sign if it's a big event. You know what I mean? There's getting on the phone with clients to see what their vision is, to see if that's something you can do, and for them to ask you questions, for you to ask them questions. So that takes time too. There's a lot of stress on, like, say if a shoot is like during the day and it's somebody wants it like during midday and the sun is out and whatnot, you got to figure out all that stuff, like, to make sure that they get a good quality of work. You feel me? So there's a lot of stress that comes in with it, but I think for me it's good stress, but that is a con. And then the other major thing that I had to find out is that you have to pay taxes. Because think about it, if you have a regular job, you have a 9 to 5, your taxes are being cut out by the time you get your check. But for me, it's like, no, fam, I have to take out my own taxes, and I have to figure out how those are done. And that really took me a cool minute. It took me a while before I figured out how to do that. And your taxes for a business owner it's a little different, because it's like when you're doing your taxes, for me, it's like I'm doing business as. So as a LLC, you have like your own you get your own tax number and all that stuff, and you can have its own social security for the business. But I do business as, so it's a little bit hard because everything is tied to me. And when I'm doing my taxes, I have So somebody else has to do it. I have to have how much I made and then how much. So profit and loss sheet is what it's called in the business world. Is basically how much I made and how much was going out, and then how much did I use for like my personal stuff. And in the beginning, it was very hard because I never had another bank account for my work. It was just the same bank account, so I would have to go check like, okay, this was personal, okay, this was for business, and all that stuff. For the first 2 years, I think, of doing taxes, that was 2018. I think in 2019 it was super hard because I literally had to go read like my statements from my bank, and that was again added to the stress. It was too much work. So that's something you have to figure out to do is taxes. But right now I have a good tax guy that I kind of do that stuff, and then I just send him the stuff, and whatever he needs from me, I just send it to him. Whatever however much like I spent, my expenses and all that stuff, I'll send that to him, and he will do the calculations and all that. But you still got to pay for his services, so you got to figure out whether you want to do that or you want somebody else to do. For me, I'm like, I'd rather have somebody else to do it so I don't stress too much. There's also like mental fatigue. You know, when you have to deal with everything, when you're your own business, when everything relies on you, it's kind of hard because it's like you know when you're doing photography or videography, there's a style. There's something called a style too. Like I have my own style, and that's why I'm different from like another photographer or videographer. So you have to like, you can't give somebody else your workload to work on unless they have a similar style, and it's very hard to find people who have a similar style. So you really have to like, figure out stuff. But before then, I was really stressing much. Now I kind of got a system. I still do everything myself, but it's become better. I've learned how to time management a little bit better. It's not where it needs to be, but it's much better. So yeah, that's that. And then you have to do a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes with running your own business. You can't be outside with everybody. You can't be doing everything because, when you're building a business up, it requires a lot. There's a lot of funds. Like there's a lot of finances that's involved, and you need to save a lot. Like I remember I used to save a lot. Like I would get like, I think when I went to school for a year and a half, like some of the financial aid money I would get, like I would save that. Like I wouldn't spend it on anything other than school. Like I would just spend that on gas but I wouldn't spend it on like anything else other than that but my business. You know what I mean? So if I needed to buy like a lens or something, that's what I would just use to buy with that. And any money that I was making in the beginning for like 2 years straight, I did not buy any new outfits. I did not buy no new shoes. I was wearing the same shorts. So I sacrificed all those fun things to be able to like just lock in and commit to like building my business. So there's sacrifice involved. And then there's a lot of like, when you start out, like people will doubt you. As much as I said people encouraged me to start charging, people did doubt me. Like people were like, oh, you shouldn't quit school, you shouldn't do that, like you should go to school and learn that, and you can be an expert and all these type of things. And since people are older, like I did listen to some of them, but again, you really have to listen to yourself. If this is something you want to do, you should definitely go for it. So people will doubt you. People will ask you for discounts. That's another thing, man. I think I used to have, when I started, I used to have the same phone as my personal phone. Now it's like I have a work phone and a personal phone. But I would be posting every day like, hey, no discounts. Don't ask me for discounts. I don't do discounts. Would you ask Walmart for a discount? All that to try and help people understand like, bro, there's so much that goes in that even when I give you a discount, I'm not really making money from it. Because for like 3 years, I think I did not make $1. Like I was just investing in the business, building a studio, buying cameras. My cameras cost, a couple thousands. And it's like I get money and then I just put it in the business. So that's it. People will ask you for discounts and they might not understand why you can't do discounts, but it's just that you're trying to build yourself up. So just know that that's going to happen. But you have to also be just determined. You have to have resilience in whatever you're doing. That's just to address the con, right? But you will have long hours. Sometimes you will have long hours, and like, so for me, like, I might be just trying to like I said, my first website, trying to get the photos together, trying to like see what photos can make it there. I have thousands of photos. How do I choose which ones go to the website and all that? And you in your field is probably going to be different. Like you're probably, I don't want to, I don't know too many fields that I want to talk about, but you're going to have same challenges, but in a different form because of whatever field that you're in. So just expect that. And then another thing, since it's your own business, it's not like a regular job where you have hours, 40 hours a week. You will have seasons that are higher than some seasons. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, it was hard because I was doing a lot more video. And I was like, man, so there's a season that video just picks up and there's like no work after that. and then I was like, oh, I need to push my photography game more. And then that's what I started doing is I started pushing my photography game. And then I actually realized like I'm doing more photos. Like now I do more photos than I do video. But the reason I started doing more photos is because video season was low at some point. Right. So you need to know that there are different seasons where you get a lot of clients, some you might not, and you need to just be able to manage those things. So, but I do both photos and videos. I just choose which ones I want to focus more on. But that's something I just wanted to highlight is that there are different seasons. And then there's also, like I said, personal liability. If you're an LLC, you have your own social security for the business and you have your own, which is not tied to you. But when you're your own business, everything is kind of tied to you. Now, insurance is also a good thing to have. You need to consider that, but you also have to pay for that. There's a premium, for that you have to pay for the insurance. So you have to consider stuff like that. And in the beginning, you might not be able to do that. You might not be able to afford insurance. So you have to do whatever you have to do until you get to where you can afford it. But that's a con because you need insurance in case anything happens to your job, anything happens to you and your equipment, or depending on what field you are into. Now, those are some of the cons. I'm sure there's a lot more that I didn't point out, but I just wanted to kind of, shed light on that. And I also now want to talk about the pros. And that's why I was telling you should watch until the end of the video, because right now, these are the things that I guess make me continue to do what I do and just keep pushing. Even when we have low seasons, even when I'm mentally fatigued, even when I'm another thing is like creativity. When you're doing photography and videography, you need a lot of creative energy, and when you're mentally fatigued, it actually affects that a lot. You can, even when you have personal issues, like when you have things that you're dealing with that are not work related, they will affect your work. So you also have to learn how to manage that, and it's not easy, so but it's just you have to do it. And why do you have to do it? Because first of all, this is a pros. You're your own boss. You get to do whatever you want. You get to do whenever you want. Well, not really, unless a client wants you. Like if a client wants you on a Saturday, July 17th, then I don't know if that's. Anyway, if a client wants you on July 17th and they want to shoot with you, you got to be there. So you're your own boss, but still somebody's telling you when they need you available. But it's much better because you kind of dictate your schedule, which is the same thing that I was gonna have, is that you have freedom. You have a lot of freedom. You have a lot, I can work Monday through Tuesday. I mean, that's like 2 days. I can work Monday through Friday and just say that's all I work. I can work Monday through Thursday. And even with your field, you could probably find that that's something you can do. You can probably work on weekends if that's just what you want to do. But you have to figure out how you can have volume if you're going to do 3 days a week or something like that, to where you're shooting, because you still got to pay your bills. You still got to meet certain needs and stuff like that, right? But you do have a lot of freedom, and I use my freedom. So what I do is I'll work a lot, and then I'll go on vacation. I'll do that again and again, and I plan my vacations way in advance. And I'm I got to work around it, that the days that I'm not on vacation. But you do get a lot of freedom. That's something I really wanted to emphasize on. And with freedom, you can be, I guess, everywhere, but don't be everywhere, if you get what I mean. You can be everywhere outside the country. Yeah, so you get, time off whenever you want. And then again, this is a very good thing for me, is that you're doing something that you love. You're doing, for me, I told you it started out as a hobby, and it's something that I love. So it doesn't feel like I'm working. It just feels like natural. And the more I do it, the better I become at it. The more hours I put in, the better I learn. I've been learning lighting and all that stuff. So and that gets better with time. If you look at the photos I used to do in the beginning and you compare them to the ones right now, way different, much better right now, right? So you're doing something that you love, and you will not feel like you're working. That's a pro. And then there's financial rewards, right? I think that's another thing that I enjoy, is that sometimes if you get a lot of work at one, say there's some seasons which are very, graduation season, wedding seasons, those are very you're working maybe every weekend, you're working every day, you're working depending on what that season, but you're making a lot of money. You're making good money that can sustain you, and that's what you also need to learn how to manage because of the low seasons. But you're getting good money to where you can be able to travel, you can be able to do the things that you want to do, you can be able to save up, and allows you to just be, I don't know, just kind of financial freedom, but it's not long term. It's just that you got it like that from doing business. And the thing with business is not limited, is that you can make a lot of money in 1 month, at 1 month. Like you could do that. So I just want to shed light on that. Is that there's a financial rewards from doing your own business. My business has allowed me to be able to buy my first car, be able to buy my first house. There's also tax advantages. You know what I mean? There's like certain things that you get as a business owner that you don't get with like a W-2. And I think that's all I'm gonna share for now. I'll probably make another video in the future, and it will share a lot more in detail. But I hope that with my story and with the things that I've been able to do, the pros and cons, that I've shared something with you that you probably resonate with and can be able to see if this is for you, if being a business owner is for you. It's very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very draining, but also the rewards, I think, for me outweigh the things that, the cons. So I wish you all the best in your business, and I hope that you do start your business. Let me know what kind of business you want to start. Put it in the comment. And if you have any questions about registering your business with the county, all that stuff, do reach out, and I'll be very happy to help you. Until next time, peace.